Anna stared out of the kitchen window, the steady hum of her dishwasher filling the silence of the room. The neighborhood was calm, children playing outside while the sun dipped low, casting the sky in a golden hue. She could see her husband, Daniel, out in the yard tossing a ball with their 8-year-old son, Max. From the outside, it looked like the perfect family scene. But inside, Anna felt trapped. She was a ghost in her own home, drifting through each day with a mask of composure that hid the storm swirling inside her. 5 years ago, everything had changed. It wasn't a sudden violent event that shattered her world. It was a drunken confession from her husband. It was a mistake, Daniel had slurred that night, tears streaming down his face. He admitted to an affair, one that hadn't lasted long but had left an indelible scar on their marriage. Anna had been stunned, her world tilting sideways. At first, she thought it was just the alcohol talking, but his guilt was real, palpable, and undeniable. The next morning, Daniel begged for forgiveness. He was sober, remorseful, and desperate to keep their family together. He made promises, swearing it would never happen again. And Anna, she stayed. Not for herself, but for Max. She couldn't bear the thought of her son growing up in a broken home. But forgiveness, she learned, was far more complex than just saying, "I forgive you." Every time she looked at Daniel, she saw the betrayal. Every time he touched her, she wondered if he had touched the other woman the same way. She thought time would heal. But instead, the wound seemed to fester, growing deeper and darker with each passing year. Anna pulled herself from her thoughts as Max ran into the kitchen, his cheeks flushed with excitement. "Mom, did you see that catch?" he exclaimed, his eyes sparkling. She forced a smile. "Of course I did, sweetheart. You're getting so good." Max ran back outside, and Anna's heart ached. Her son adored his father. And Daniel, for all his flaws, was a good dad. He was patient, playful, and involved in every aspect of Max's life. Anna couldn't deny that he loved their son deeply. But what about her? Did he love her? Or was their marriage just a charade now, held together by habit and guilt? And did she love him? That question haunted her the most. One evening, after putting Max to bed, Anna stood in front of the bathroom mirror. The woman staring back at her looked tired. More than tired. She looked worn, as if the years of carrying the weight of her marriage had drained the life from her. She ran her fingers through her hair, now streaked with strands of gray that she hadn't bothered to dye. Her once bright eyes seemed dull, and there was a sadness etched into the lines of her face. She thought back to the woman she used to be, the one who had fallen in love with Daniel all those years ago. She had been vibrant, full of dreams and laughter. She had believed in love, in loyalty, in forever. But now, she wasn't even sure who she was anymore. Daniel knocked softly on the bathroom door, breaking her reverie. "Hey," he said, his voice tentative. "You okay?" Anna turned to him, her expression neutral. "Yeah. Just tired." He nodded, looking like he wanted to say more but choosing not to. That was how their conversations went now. Short, surface-level exchanges that skirted around the deeper issues. They lived together, co-parented Max, and shared the same bed, but there was a chasm between them that neither seemed willing to cross. As Daniel walked away, Anna felt a surge of anger. How dare he act like everything was normal? How dare he pretend they were fine when he was the one who had broken them? But the anger faded as quickly as it had come, replaced by the familiar ache of resignation. She knew she wasn't blameless. She had chosen to stay, after all. She had made her bed, and now she had to lie in it. It wasn't until Anna met Jason that she realized how lonely she truly was. Jason was a new colleague at the community center where she volunteered part-time. He was kind, attentive, and funny in a way that felt effortless. He noticed things about her, the way she liked her coffee, the books she read, the way her eyes lit up when she talked about Max. At first, their conversations were innocent. They talked about work, about parenting, about life in general. But slowly, a connection began to form. Jason made her feel seen in a way she hadn't felt in years. One afternoon, as they were leaving the center, Jason stopped her. Anna, he said, his voice soft, I don't know what's going on in your life, but you deserve to be happy. His words hit her like a punch to the gut. She blinked back tears, managing a weak smile before walking away. That night, she lay awake in bed, her mind racing. She thought about Jason's words, about the way he made her feel, about the possibility of starting over. But then she thought about Max. She thought about the life they had built, the stability they had tried so hard to maintain. And she thought about Daniel. No matter how much he had hurt her, he was still the father of her child. And despite everything, there was a part of her that still cared for him, that still longed for the man he used to be. One evening, Anna decided she couldn't keep living in limbo. She needed answers. She needed to know if there was still something worth salvaging in her marriage. After putting Max to bed, she sat down with Daniel in the living room. We need to talk, she said, her voice steady. Daniel looked at her, his expression wary. Okay. Anna took a deep breath. Do you even love me anymore? Or are we just going through the motions? Daniel was silent for a long moment. When he finally spoke, his voice was heavy with guilt. I do love you, Anna. But I know I've hurt you. And I don't know how to fix it. His honesty caught her off guard. She had expected defensiveness, denial, excuses. But his vulnerability made her heart ache. I don't know if we can fix it, she admitted. I don't know if I can ever trust you again. But I need to know if you're willing to try. Daniel nodded, his eyes meeting hers. I am. I'll do whatever it takes. For the first time in years, Anna felt a flicker of hope. It wasn't much, but it was a start. The road to healing was long and difficult. Anna and Daniel started couples therapy, where they confronted their issues head-on. There were tears, arguments, and moments of doubt, but there were also breakthroughs. Anna began to see glimpses of the man she had fallen in love with, the one who made her laugh, who supported her dreams, who was her partner in every sense of the word. And Daniel saw the toll his betrayal had taken on her, realizing how much he had taken her love and trust for granted. It wasn't easy, and there were days when Anna wondered if it was worth it. But as she watched Daniel reading to Max one evening, she felt a sense of peace. She didn't know what the future held, but she knew one thing for certain. She was no longer a prisoner of her past. She was choosing to fight. For herself, for Max, and for the possibility of a love that could endure even the deepest wounds. Despite the progress Anna and Daniel were making, Anna knew she needed something more. Therapy was helping their relationship, but it wasn't enough to help her rediscover herself. She realized that for years, she had been so focused on holding her family together that she had lost sight of who she was as a person. One Saturday morning, Anna decided to take a step for herself. I signed up for an art class, she announced over breakfast, her voice steady. Daniel looked up from his coffee, surprised. Art. That's great. Anna. I didn't know you liked painting. I don't know if I do, Anna admitted with a small smile. But I want to find out. The class became her sanctuary. For 2 hours every Saturday, she escaped into a world of colors and creativity. The studio was filled with people of all ages, each lost in their own artistic journey. For the first time in years, Anna felt like she was doing something just for herself. One day, as she worked on a still life painting, the instructor, a warm woman named Lila, stopped by her easel. You've got a great eye for detail, Lila said, nodding at Anna's work. Ever thought about pursuing this seriously? Anna laughed, shaking her head. I'm just here to have fun. But as she packed up her supplies that afternoon, Lila's words lingered in her mind. Maybe, just maybe, this was the start of something new. While Anna was finding herself again, Daniel was grappling with his own demons. Therapy had forced him to confront the reasons behind his betrayal, and it wasn't an easy process. One evening, as they sat on the couch, Daniel turned to Anna, his expression somber. There's something I need to tell you, he said quietly. Anna's heart sank. What is it? It's about the affair, Daniel said, his voice faltering. I've told you before that it was a mistake, but I don't think I've ever explained why it happened. Anna braced herself, unsure if she was ready to hear the truth. I was scared, Daniel admitted. Scared of getting older, of losing the spark in our marriage, of not being enough for you. And instead of facing those fears, I ran from them. I let my insecurities take over, and I hurt you in the process. Anna stared at him, her emotions a whirlwind of anger, sadness, and a glimmer of understanding. You should have talked to me, she said, her voice trembling. We could have faced those fears together. I know, Daniel said, his eyes filled with regret. And I'll spend the rest of my life trying to make it up to you, if you'll let me. It wasn't a perfect apology, but it was honest. And for Anna, that was a start. One afternoon, as Anna was leaving her art class, she ran into someone she hadn't seen in years. Claire, an old college friend. Anna, is that you? Claire exclaimed, her face lighting up with recognition. Claire, Anna said, her surprise quickly turning to delight. They hugged, exchanging quick updates about their lives before deciding to grab coffee. As they sat in a cozy cafe, catching up on the years they had missed, Anna found herself opening up about her struggles. I don't know if I'm doing the right thing by staying with Daniel, Anna admitted, stirring her latte. Some days, I feel like we're making progress, and other days, it feels like I'm just fooling myself. Claire nodded thoughtfully. I can't tell you what's right or wrong, she said. But I can tell you this. You deserve to be happy, Anna. Whatever that looks like for you, don't settle for less. Her words stayed with Anna long after their coffee date. For the first time, Anna began to ask herself what happiness truly meant for her, and whether her marriage could still bring her that joy. One evening, as Anna sat in her art studio at home, she found herself thinking about everything she had been through. The pain, the betrayal, the slow process of healing. It was all swirling in her mind. On an impulse, she picked up a pen and began to write. Dear Daniel, there are so many things I've wanted to say to you, but I've never found the right words. So I'm writing them down now, hoping you'll understand. When you told me about the affair, it broke something inside me. I didn't just lose trust in you. I lost trust in myself. I started questioning everything. My worth, my choices, my ability to make this marriage work. But over time, I realized something important. Your betrayal doesn't define me. It doesn't diminish my value or my strength. I stayed because of Max, because I thought it was the right thing to do. But now, I'm staying because I see the effort you're making, the changes you're trying to make. I see the man I fell in love with, and I hope we can find our way back to each other. But I need you to know that I won't settle for less than I deserve. If we're going to make this work, it has to be a partnership, a real one. No more secrets, no more lies. Just honesty, love, and respect. I'm willing to try if you are. Love. Anna. She left the letter on Daniel's nightstand, her heart pounding with anticipation and fear. The next morning, Daniel found the letter. Anna watched nervously as he read it, his expression shifting from confusion to understanding to something she couldn't quite place. When he finished, he looked up at her, his eyes glistening with unshed tears. Anna, he said, his voice thick with emotion. Thank you. For giving me another chance, for believing in me, for being stronger than I ever deserved. Anna felt a lump rise in her throat. I just want us to be honest with each other, Daniel. No more pretending. He nodded. I promise. From that day forward, their marriage began to shift. It wasn't easy, there were still arguments, moments of doubt, and old wounds that resurfaced. But there were also moments of connection, of laughter, of hope. Anna continued her art classes, finding joy in creating something new. Daniel started joining her for walks, something they hadn't done in years. And together, they began rebuilding the foundation of their marriage, one step at a time. For the first time in years, Anna felt a sense of peace. She didn't know what the future held, but she knew one thing. She was no longer just surviving. She was living. And that was enough.